Hey guys, welcome to Kidmissing TV. This is going to be the last case of Oddities October. Let me explain. I did not realize that there was another Monday in October because on my calendar, you know how if there aren't enough squares on a calendar, they split the date? So they put two dates in the same square by splitting the square in half. Well, that's what happened. Turns out Halloween's a Monday. So I found a case where two girls disappeared on Halloween. So, and as you can see from the poster, I made it Halloween. Patricia Spencer and Pamela Hobley. Patricia went by Patty and Pamela went by Pam. So that's what we'll be calling them. Patricia was 16. Pamela was 15 when they went missing on Halloween, October 31st, 1969. Excuse me. Patty had a scar on her leg due to a dog attack. Pam was 15. She had one scar near her nose and the other by her mouth, although some sources state the latter was a birthmark. Okay. They told their moms that they were going to the high school's homecoming football game and a Halloween party. When Pamela's mother and siblings returned from trick-or-treating and she still wasn't there, they thought it was odd. And her fiance said she never even arrived at the party. And they learned that Patty hadn't arrived either. So they were a little confused. The two weren't exactly, I mean, they weren't enemies or anything, but they weren't like close friends. So they were surprised that the two, excuse me, would be together. And they were both close to their families, so it seemed odd that they would run away. This was in Oscoda, Michigan. I don't know anything about the town. And they didn't bring their purses, IDs, clothing, nothing. Wouldn't a 15 and a 16-year-old girl have their purse at school? If for no other reason than to carry makeup, feminine protection, 1969, maybe even cigarettes. I just would think that that's not something a 15 or 16-year-old girl would go to school without. That just seems strange to me, especially seeing how they were going to a party afterwards. They were possibly seen walking together away from Oscoda High School. However, a witness later stated that he picked them up as they were walking along River Road and dropped them off at downtown Oscoda. Police cite further undisclosed information to indicate that the girls were downtown that day. Investigators think they continued hitchhiking and probably two men picked them up and ended their lives. In 1985, police were told that the two were murdered by two area men, in quotes, and buried near a barn, noted to be a popular location for teenage parties. Decades later, the local chief of police directed an investigation of this suggestion and a search of the area with the aid of cadaver dogs, which turned up no detectable evidence that human remains were at the scene. They don't even know if the person that owned the property at the time it was searched was even the person that owned the property at the time that they disappeared. Um, a man now deceased claimed to have transported them on the day that they disappeared. Yet this particular lead is no longer considered credible for some reason. Uh, Another individual later told police he had given girls a ride to a gas station not far from where they were last seen. And it just goes on and on. Mary Buell has continued to show support for the case, most notably at a state event known as Missing in Michigan, where family members of Michigan residents rally alongside law enforcement and share details of such cases. The cases are now in the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NAMUS, and the Doe Network. And NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, used age progression technology on the two girls. Both of their DNA profiles were obtained to compare to unidentified decedents. Hobley's dental records, so Pamela's dental records, were obtained, but they were not able to obtain Pamela Spencer's. You know what? I don't have a phone number in this case. That's weird. Her sister, Mary Buell, Buehrle. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. Says she can't move on. This is what she told 48 Hours, Crime Cider. I just hope that someone knows something and will finally have the guts to say something. Amen, Mary. Pamela's boyfriend told the family they were supposed to go out that evening, but that she never showed. And her worried mother called around, and that's when they realized that Spencer was also missing. Mary, I'm going to say Mary because I can't pronounce the last name and I keep screwing it up, insists that her sister would not have run away. While she said she was known to be a partier, she had everything to look forward to. She was recently engaged to her boyfriend. I find that a little bit odd. She was 15 and engaged. But it was a different time. And I do know that kids were getting married in high school during that time period, the late 60s and the early 70s, because their boyfriends were being drafted to Vietnam. Some were even getting pregnant in order to have a part of him in case he didn't come home. I know this because my mother's the same age as these girls. And she talked about what had happened back in those days with me before. The officer that's now working on the case was 12 years old at the time. He said that he reopened the case with new leads and said he hopes more information will come as the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's work to generate a new case profile on the missing girls. They have a unit that is called their Case Analysis Unit that is going to start looking at some of the people involved in the report and gathering more information for me, he said. There is a chance he could meet with members of the center to go over the 2 large binders of information on the case. They would profile the case and possibly give me leads or information on which way to go with the case. His name is David, by the way. That is amazing. Sorry, guys. I have a message into my doctor because I'm now blowing yellow and literally have pain all the way to here. Well, all the way to here on this side and all the way, let's see. This side is the worst side. This side is to about here. It's opposite of what I'm looking at. Somebody knows something. With a person of interest, but not enough evidence, it certainly makes one think that someone knows something. A 2018 article in the hometown Iosco County News Herald details the case and concludes with a 1970 letter to the editor from Patty Spencer's mother, Arlene. This is a direct quote. I have done everything I can think of to find my daughter, so now I am just plain begging. Some of you have to know how the girls left here. I know it's a sin for one kid to tell on another, and I admire your loyalty to a certain extent. I feel sometimes you use it in the wrong direction. You do not tell on a friend. If they use drugs, drink, or steal, that is their business. You don't approve and you don't tell. End quote. Investigations in 1969 related in an article by Unexplained Realms state the girls left Escoto High School after a bomb threat. They hitched a ride from their school to downtown, about 4 miles away. Now, I haven't read anywhere where there was a bomb threat, except this. In 1985, a tip led the police to a barn that was once a teenage hangout. Now, police have said that they've searched every teenage hangout from the time period at this point, to no avail. Do I have the phone number here? Wish I did. External links. Well, you can go to, you can call the Escoto Police Department. I don't have their number. And you can call 1-800-THE-LOST, because, as you heard, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is heavily involved in this case. And certainly contact the authorities through NamUs or through the Doe Network. And I will put those links in the description. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you in November. Bye-bye.